What's going on, people? Good afternoon on this trade deadline Tuesday. Now, obviously, nothing's really happened in the last couple of hours because the deadline is passed and there's not really too much else to talk about. I think there was one deal at the buzzer with Trevor Penning, and apparently the Jets got a fringe rosterable cornerback with like a seventh round pick, and that got reported a little after the deadline, something like that. But nothing too big, and of course, nothing to do with the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks did make one move today, and we're going to take more time to discuss it as the week goes on. But sneaking in the middle of all of the trade deadline news, we did get this, and I do want to go over this real quick because it's obviously pretty impactful for the Seahawks' upcoming game. Coming off their win last night against the Dallas Cowboys, the Cardinals have committed to Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback for the time being. Back in 60 seconds. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. All right, so Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starting quarterback, which means he is the next quarterback we have to think about because our next game is against the Cardinals. And I think right off the bat, there are a couple different ways to look at this. For one, on the one hand, if there's one thing that Mike McDonald's defense seems to have a little bit of an issue with, it's mobile quarterbacks. It does seem like mobile quarterbacks can make some plays against his defense. Even this week against Washington, as much as we did beat them down, Jaden Daniels did have some success with his legs, and a lot of their more successful plays were plays where he was trying to use his feet. And I do think there's something to be said for that. I think that you look at some other games over the last year and a half, there has been some issues there, or there have been some issues there, rather. So there is that consideration. On the other hand, Jacoby Brissett is just kind of playing better than Kyler Murray right now. He is. I think he's a better fit for the other personnel on that offense. And just generally speaking, I don't know if he actually is a better quarterback overall, but I think for this Cardinals team right now, he's probably a little better off. And so far this year, in a fairly significant number of snaps, he's played pretty well. He doesn't turn the ball over hardly ever, and that's something that has been true throughout basically his whole career. He's never been a big turnover guy, so he protects the ball, and he doesn't necessarily do a lot of some of the things that you would want a quarterback to do. He's not going to be a big time playmaker necessarily, but he does have an NFL arm. It's not a stellar arm, but it's an NFL arm. And he does bring a lot of veteran know-how to the position. He's seen almost everything there is to see out there. And in his career, he's played under some very good quarterbacks. He played under Brady for a year. He played under, I think, Andrew Luck for a couple years there before Andrew Luck retired. He's been around, and he's participated on some pretty good teams, and been under some good throwers of the football. And I think that that experience and that familiarity it's been to his benefit so far this season. And again, I don't know if he's actually better than Kyler Murray, but you look at a player like a Marvin Harrison Jr., whose great skill in the NFL is his route running. I think that a guy like Brissett is better for Marvin Harrison Jr. than Kyler Murray. Same goes for possibly Trey McBride, although Trey McBride did produce a lot with Kyler as the quarterback last year. I do wonder if a player like Brissett that is more likely going to be able to get you the ball on time and see the plays develop properly from a kind of a overhead position where he's going to have the height and he's going to have the wherewithal to see the play develop and know where he needs to go. Whereas you have a guy like Kyler Murray who's a little bit more of an improviser. I do wonder if maybe you're better off with Brissett in an offense that is featuring Marvin Harrison Jr. as the primary playmaker. So there's that part of it. And also on that side of the equation, the Seahawks typically beat Kyler Murray. And that goes back to before McDonald. That goes back to Pete Carroll. That goes back to Geno Smith. That goes back to even a little bit with Russell Wilson. I think he beat Russell a couple of times, but we always beat him with Geno. And so far it's only one game, but we've always beat him with Darnold. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. So I don't know. I don't know if this is good or bad. I can see it both ways. Obviously, Jacoby's not going to bring the same mobility and agility and playmaking with his legs that Kyler did. But there are some things that he does better than Kyler. But this is going to be the next guy we got to worry about as the Seahawks should be able to get a lot of sacks on him, should be able to cash in on a lot of pressure. Like that's one thing that you may have noticed these last couple of games. The Seahawks have been getting a lot of pressure. They don't always turn their pressure into sacks, in part because some of these quarterbacks they're playing, they're good at escaping pressure. Brissett, not really the guy who's going to escape pressure. I think he got sacked 5 times last night. And that Dallas pass rush, not exactly world beaters. So that brings an opportunity that I think the Seahawks defense can take advantage of. But I don't expect to see as many plays where you've got a receiver running wide open and the quarterback just doesn't see it. Jacoby's more likely to see it than Kyler. So that's what's going on over there. Makes sense to me, by the way. Overall, I do think it's the right decision for Arizona to do this. I think we all know that Kyler's gone this offseason. I think that he's going to get released, and Arizona's going to be on the hunt for another quarterback. So if they can avoid risking injury, and apparently while Kyler could come back this week, there's a pretty strong risk of re-injuring his injury for the next month or so. So at the very least, they should be working to protect him, because if he gets injured, that can complicate the matter of trying to release him in the offseason. So on that level, it makes sense as well. But even from a football standpoint, if you think Arizona's season is not over, Jacoby's probably the right guy to lead them forward. All right, let me know what you guys think down below. I will see you guys soon. Go Hawks. And Jacoby Brissett, welcome to Seattle. We're going to treat you all right, but when the game starts, it's going to be violent.